Good morning, respected HOD sir and teachers. We are students of third year Fire Technology and Safety Department, and this is our minor project topic assessment of evacuation time during emergency situation in hospitals under the guidance of Gaurav Anthony sir. Myself, Kunal Singh, and our group members are Anirban Das, Chandrasekhar Deshmukh, Kaushal Patel, Kuldeep Prajapat, and Moktik Jagta. This is a prediction model that enables us to estimate the evacuation time in any hospitals. Also, the computation time is very short, which enables us to improvise in between an evacuation also. The content of our project are abstract, objective of our project, introduction, literature review, model design, example of applying our model, calculation, and future plan. The objective of our project is to estimate the evacuation time in a hospital at the time of emergency. Also help us in decision making how to apply the resources available to us. And to reduce the use of costly and time consuming simulation models which are done on computers.
In this presentation, we have three stages of evacuation. To develop an effective evacuation plan, employees should follow the three stages of evacuation in a fire. Stage 1 immediate evacuation, stage 2 lateral evacuation, and stage 3 partial evacuation. The duration of most fire drills in between 5 and 15 minutes. Drills time can vary from building to building depending on many factors such as speed of evacuation, building size, and fire alarm system. The introduction. All the hospitals and healthcare facilities need to have a plan in place to be able to respond to internal and external emergencies. For this plan, the decision to allocate and assign available resources to the floors and units in need of help. While simulation models are capable of analyzing the evacuation process and estimation time, building simulation modeling and costly and time consuming. Now next is literature review.
Our next topic is literature review. The first literature was published in the year 2011, which is estimation of the evacuation time in an emergency situation in hospitals. In this paper, a prediction model is presented that is estimates the evacuation time in an emergency situation for hospitals. The model is generic enough to be used in various hospital settings. The major advantage of the model is that the computation time is very short and it does not need a lengthy and costly design. The results are very similar to the designated stimulation model. Our second literature review was published in the year 2011, which is which is a study for the evacuation of hospital on fire during construction. In this paper, author explained that factors such as increasing in patient number, demands for more hospital beds, and expansion of hospital division all make the original hospital configuration inadequate. An addition or alteration must be added to the building in order to meet both current and future needs. Because hospital cannot suspend all medical practice or reject patients, the construction of hospital buildings must be coincide with its normal hospital hours. This study focuses on how to carry out the hospital's reconstruction without interrupting regular hospital operations. The possible effect of a fire ignited in the construction area, bridging the new and the original building to its neighboring respiratory care units RCU, and fire safety issues of those areas are analyzed using the FDS plus EVAC software. Our third literature review was published in the year 2013, which is Hospital Evacuation Planning, Assessment, Performance and Evaluation. In this, authors studied that the malfunction in hospital complex internal system or external threats may result in a hospital evacuation. Factors contributing to such evacuation must be identified, analyzed, and action plans should be prepared. Our aim in the study were to evaluate the risk of and the vulnerability analysis as a basis of hospital evacuation, to identify risk hazards triggering an evacuation and evaluate the response needed, and to propose to template with the main key points for planning, performance, and evaluation for such evacuation. Our fourth literature review was published in the year 2017, which is Implementation of Best Practices for Emergency Response and Recovery at Large Hospital, a Fire Emergency Case Study. This paper illustrates a study conducted into the managerial practices implemented to mitigate the consequences of a major fire emergency and to promptly restore normal business operation at a large pediatric hospital, stemming from prior research on crisis response and recovery in critical infrastructure. This investigation demonstrates that factors such as the complexity of the underlying stakeholder network and the vulnerability of the involved factors and several temporal and spatial constraints all contribute in hampering the intervention of crisis managers. Our fifth literature review was published in the year 2019, which is Stimulation of a Hospital Evacuation including Wheelchairs based on Modified Cellular Automate. In this study, author conducted a simulation for a hospital famous for orthopedics based on the modified cellular automata. Pedestrians here are divided into wheelchairs users, general patient, and normal person. In particular, avoidance rules are set in the model to present the moving priority of the wheelchair. Local density field is introduced to improve the utilization of the movement space. Waiting time, evacuation time, and the movement routes are analyzed for these three types of pedestrians. The result shows that the routes of wheelchair are shortened and both their waiting and evacuation time are significantly reduced due to priority. The slower is faster effect is observed that the normal person and the general patient actively avoid wheelchairs.
Our sixth literature review was published in 2012, which is Cellular Automation Modeling Approach for Optimum Ultra High Rise Building Evacuation Device. In this paper, it proposed a quantitative and viewable elevator aided ultra high rise building evacuation model, which simulates both pedestrian movement and elevator transportation. Our seventh literature review was published in 2010, which is Building Safety and Human Behavior in Fire. In this paper, it contains a review of the available literature on human behavior in a fire so far as building safety is concerned. It presented an overview of the critical factors which determine occupant fire response performance, namely the characteristics of fire, human being, and buildings. Our eighth literature review was published in 2013, which is stair evacuation of older adults and people with mobility experiment. This paper presents the speed and behavior data. The building population comprises of diverse array of older adults and disabled people, descending the stairwells by the following methods: self-evacuation without assistance, assistance using a can, assistance from another occupant or firefighter, or assistance using a stair chair. Our last literature review was published in 2017, which is Safe Evacuation for All Fact and Fantasy. This paper considered the evacuation of mixed ability population in the context of increasing accessibility and changing demographics. Review the basis for current design guidance and explore the design option for person with reduced mobility.
Coming to our model design now, our model design is rather simple than the computer simulations which we are using nowadays. It is a very complex process and requires a lot of money and time. But our model is very simple and it is cost effective and it creates the result which is accurate with an acceptable range. So we divide patients into three types here. Type 1 includes the walking wounded which can walk without any external help and can take themselves to the safe area. Type 2 are the less critical patients which are on wheelchair and require some external efforts to guide them to the safe area. And type 3 are the critical patients who are on the beds and require other external medical facilities to keep them alive. So we also include staff which are of two types: medical and non-medical. Medical staff includes nurses, doctors, and other people who help in medical service, and non-medical are the security guards and others. Also, we in our model, as we know that for safety, our oath is to save those who can be saved rather than wasting time on who cannot be saved. So our model prefer type 1 patients because it will be quick and easier to guide them to the safe area uh, rather than prioritizing type 3 patients to the safe area first. So our model design is available right here. So the diamonds, or the rhombus, which are light blue in color, represent the questions which we ask to ourselves during the time of evacuation, or if we are estimating, then before the evacuation. And the red arrow indicates that no, that condition is not available right now, and green symbolize that that condition is available now. So the first question which we ask is, if the available number of staff is greater than the capacity of resources. Here resources means the elevators and other necessary equipments like the stretchers with the wheels by which we can transfer type 3 patients to the safety. So if it is yes, that the number of staff is greater than the capacity of resources, then there is a different path, which is A, which we will see in our in future slides. If this condition is no, that the capacity is more and number of staff is less, which is rather rarely possible, but still there is a possibility. So if the number of staff is less, then we estimate average evacuation time for each one patient of each type, whether type 1, 2 and 3, after calculating the estimate evacuation time, which include the preparation time and the time required to walk from their room to the safe area. Then we assign the staff to type 1 patient. As I said in previous slide, that we prioritize those who can be saved. So we assign staff which are rather less, I guess 1 or 2 can be assigned to these kind of patients. And type 1 also include the family members who are just visiting, so they can walk on their own. So we assign staff to type 1 and they evacuate the assigned patient to the safe area. Now after evacuating this, some of the staff stay with them to help them, and others return to the other rooms to continue the evacuation. Now here we ask the second question: is there available staff to be assigned to the type 2 patient? So if it is possible, we will see that, but if it is not possible, that the number of staff is less, as we know that the no condition says that the capacity of resources is more than number of staff. So if it is not possible, we wait until the staff which was assigned to type 1 return to the other rooms and continue the evacuation. So if the answer is yes to the previous question, which was, is there still available staff to assign to type 2, then we assign the rest of the staff to type 2 patients which are on wheelchairs, and we evacuate them accordingly. And then we ask again a question, that is there still any left after assigning the staff to the patient? Is there still any left? If yes, we again wait for the staff to return to the patients and continue the process. And but if type 2 patients are no more available for evacuation, then we move to type 3 patients. And is there available staff which can guide type 3 patient to the safe zone? If yes, we assign the rest of the staff available to the patients of type 3 and evacuate them. But if it is not possible, that available staff is not enough to evacuate the type 3 patient, then we wait until the staff come and the process repeat itself. And at last, it is end of the evacuation, where every family member and the patients all are evacuated. Now we consider the situation where the number of staff is greater than the number available resources in the hospital, which is most of, in 99.9% case, this will be the case of evacuation. So here the same thing applies, that we ask question which are in the rhombus form, and yes is indicated by green arrow and no is indicated by red arrow. So if the number of staff is greater, then we again estimate the time which will be required by each of the patient of type 1, type 2 and type 3, and prioritizing type 1 patients, we assign the staff to the type 1 patient. Now since we already have the staff which is greater than the number of resources available, we will have enough staff to guide type 2 patients to the safe zone. So we assign the staff to the type 2 patients until we reach the full capacity of the resources, which means until the elevators are full, that no more type 2 patients with their wheelchairs can be fitted in the elevator to rescue them to the safe zone. If then we evacuate those patients, and we again ask the question, are there any type 2 patient that need to be evacuated? If there are still available, then we repeat the process of assigning the staff to the patients and evacuating them. But if all of them are evacuated, we move to type 3 patients. So we ask a question, is there still available capacity for type 3 patient? If there is, we assign the staff to type 3 patients until we match the capacity of resources, which means the elevators and other necessary life saving equipments, and we evacuate them. But if there is not available staff or resources for type 3 patients, then we wait for the staff to come back after evacuating the type 2 patients uh, in their earlier round. So we assign them again to the type 3 patient and evacuate them. Then if there are none type 3 patient left, it is end of the evacuation. Now we will consider an example of our model applying. So this is a hypothetical situation where number of type 2 patients are 5, type 3 patients are 2, number of elevators available are 2, and staff members are 7. So this is a condition where number of staff is greater than the available resources. So the same thing is written in the note where resources such as elevator are playing bottleneck as number of staff is greater. So this is the plan which shows our model design. So here there are, as you can see, 5 type 2 patients and 2 type 3 patients. So type 2 patients are on wheelchairs and type 3 patients are on bed. So a wheelchair can be driven by one staff, and we have 7 staffs available. So we assign each type 2 patient one staff member, like we have assigned type 2 patient 1, assigned staff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here number shows the staff number, it doesn't show the number of staff. So it also indicate the elevator which is used, which are only 2 available. So type 2 patient which is in the first room get assigned type number 1 staff and use number 1 elevator to evacuate the person. Here AP indicates average preparation time, which means taking him from his room to the gate of the elevator and other necessary things which has to be taken care of in between, such as the medical services if we need any in between. That is considered as average preparation time. And we have estimated that 3 minutes of running would take to transfer the patient of type 2 to the safe location. As we have 2 elevators available, 2 of the type 2 patients can move at once, hence we say it a round 1. In round 2, assign staff number 3 and 4 another type 2 patients to the safe zone, and we call it round 2. Here round 3 comes, and type 3 patients require 2 assigned staff to move the stretcher from his room to the safe zone. Hence staff assigned is 6 and 7. And average preparation time for type 3 patient will be different from that of type 2. And after evacuating patient of type 2, 4 and 5 return to evacuate another patient of type 3, because number 1, 2 and 3 have to stay with them in the safe zone to provide additional medical services, since they are not in the hospital but they still need help. So assigned staff 1, 2, 3 stay with them.
After this, the calculation to estimate the evacuation time is given. Notation for the parameters of model. P1 means the number of walking bounded patients, means type 1. P2 means P2 is the number of less critical patients in wheelchair, means type 2 patient. P3 is the number of critical patient on a bed, which is type 3. P1 is a evacuation time for one type 1 patient. P22 is evacuation time for one type 2 patient. P33 evacuation time for the type 3 patient. M is the number of medical staff and N is the number of non-medical staff. B is the number of staff who stay with their patients in the safe location. R is the number of assigned to the walking wounded patient, and C is the number of available elevators. ET means the estimated evacuation time. In case where elevators play a important role, following condition occur: M plus N minus R is greater than C and M plus N minus B is greater than C, where C means the number of available elevators. Average preparation time means AP equals to P2, which is product of PT2 plus P3, which is product of PT3 upon means divided by M plus N minus B. PT2 is a preparation time for type 2 patient and P2M is the running time for type 2 patient. PT3 preparation time for type 3 patient and P3M is the running time for type 3 patient. P22 means the evacuation time for type 2 patient is equals to AP plus P2M, and P33 means the evacuation time for type 3 patient equals to AP plus P3M. Now the estimated evacuation time is equals to P22 plus P2 minus C, where C is the number of available elevators and the product of P22 plus P33 plus P3 minus G, product and the product of P33. Here G is equals to P2 minus C plus P2 minus C and the product of C. Here it is the estimated evacuation time for the patients to evacuate from the hospitals.
Due to current scenario of coronavirus lockdown, we were not able to visit hospitals, in result of which we will apply our model approach in major projects. The future plan of our model focus mainly on 2 points, which are as follows. First, visit the hospitals where we can collect data for both the conditions of our model, and second is to determine the error between computer simulation and this model design. Thank you.